That was H3.
Wow.
Minimax H3 is out, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to get it running in a few minutes. The video you saw just now took about 9 minutes to make and cost 16 cents when I ran it on my own Runpod instance. Stick around to the end, and I'll give you a referral code that you can use to get a gift from Runpod. H3 is the new video and audio model from Chinese AI company Minimax. The model can, at least in theory, run on a regular laptop. I tried it, and let's say the word theory is doing a lot of heavy lifting. And yes, H3 is free and open weight, so you can download it and run it locally, and that's what we're going to do today. That means that once you have the model, there's no cost other than electricity or renting a GPU, and nobody can take it away from you any more than they can take away any other file on your computer. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to run H3 through ComfyUI, but if you have never worked with that either, don't worry, I'll walk you through setting one up through Runpod. It's a quick way to test it out before you go on wilder adventures with it. And it is also how I can create a video for about 10% of the cost on the official H3 website. And if you have ComfyUI up and running, it's quick and easy to set up the H3 workflows for image to video and text to video and even reference to video. Welcome to B Explains Everything. Let's start out with the basic requirements to follow along with this video. You're going to need ComfyUI 030.1. If you have an earlier version, I'll walk you through how to upgrade through ComfyUI Manager, but if you don't have that, your favorite LLM can tell you how to upgrade. Second, you need a beefy GPU, and let me be blunt about this. Minimax claims that you can run H3 on an NVIDIA 360. You can, but I've been running a 5-second clip on my 370 mobile GPU today, and it seems to be taking around 11 hours. For a 5-second clip, that is insane. To put that into perspective, I'm going to run this on an NVIDIA RTX 5090 today, and it will likely take 5-7 minutes. 11 hours versus 7 minutes. But it gets better, literally, because when you have warmed up the pod and the model is loaded, it is even faster. I've seen 2K 5-second clips finish in just over 2 minutes. In fact, let me start this now on a Runpod instance I already have running so you can see how it works. I'm going to open ComfyUI where I have everything set up, and I'm going to use one of the default workflows from ComfyUI for H3. I'll put the link in the description. In this case, I'll use the text to video workflow, and I won't change anything. Just drag it from my download folder onto ComfyUI like this, and then hit run. There's already a prompt for an action scene here, so that's what will render, and it is the same prompt you get if you use those default workflow files too. While that is running, we can quickly look at the other two workflows. There's image to video, which in addition to a prompt also requires an input image. H3 is very good at keeping your image true through the video, so that's something that's much better than other models. Next, you have reference to video, which is how you can take a mix of videos and images and use those to create a new video. For example, you might have a video where you want to add a person or even take 2 people and put them in the same scene. Let's switch back to the Text to Video tab, download the video, and see the result. As you can see here, the rendering took about 277 seconds. That's a normal result for the first video you generate, and if we just generate again on the same pod, it will likely be closer to 2 minutes, perhaps a bit more. Now that we have seen this, however, let's get back to setting this up so you can start playing with it yourself. The first step is creating a Runpod account. If you don't have one and want to support me in making videos like these, there's a link in the description that gives both you and me a gift in the form of Runpod credits when you spend the minimum 10 in credits. I'm going to assume you have that created, so let's go over here to start a new pod. Click Pods in the left menu and then Deploy. A pod at Runpod is a virtual machine that you rent per second. The prices are per hour, but you're charged per second. The intro clip for this video took 553 seconds, meaning just over 9 minutes, so the cost to render it was about 15 cents. We want to create a template for ComfyUI 030.1 because the default ComfyUI templates at Runpod are not set up for 030.1. We don't want to do that upgrade on a high-powered and expensive GPU, however, since it might take 15-20 minutes. We only need to do this once because once we create a template, we can use the same template that already contains all the upgrades and the models we need to run H3. The setup takes 15-20 minutes the first time, and I'll walk you through every step, and then you can spin up a pod and start rendering in a few seconds every time from now on. On the type page, you can pick any of the lower-priced GPUs. We won't really use the GPU at all during setup, so it doesn't matter if it's slow. Next, scroll down and in the Configure Deployment section, click to change the template. At the time of this recording, the version you want to choose is the official ComfyUI with CUDA 12.8. We need to upgrade this pod, which will take a few minutes, but if you watch this video later and there's an official ComfyUI template with version 0.30.1, you can skip that step. Next, we want to set up the disk. You want to use a network volume here, so choose that and click the Create a Network Volume option in the dropdown. In the dialog that opens, you should see one or several regions available. The region is important for setting up the volume because you won't be able to attach a network disk in other regions. Don't worry about it too much now. The main blocker is whether there are GPUs available in the region you choose, and that changes every few minutes in any case. Just make sure your network drive is big enough and you need at least 50 GB. The model alone will consume around 40-45 GB, so more is better. Once you have selected a region and set the size to a minimum of 50 GB, click Create Volume and it's done in seconds. Now that we are done with setting that up, click Deploy on Demand to launch your pod. It will take a few seconds to spin up, but one of the links in the pod details will be to ComfyUI. When it changes to ready, you can click the link and ComfyUI will open. If you've never worked with ComfyUI before, it can be intimidating at first. It is one of the most confusing user experiences you can find, but follow along and I'll show you where to click. First, if you get a template pop-up, just close it. We need to upgrade ComfyUI first. We can do that through the ComfyUI Manager, which is available in the top menu. Click that, and you should see a modal that has a button to update all. Click that. There's not much in terms of feedback when you click that, so just be patient and it will finish. I'll fast forward until it is done so you don't have to sit and watch nothing happening on the screen while my pod updates. While this is going on, it's a great opportunity for you to do two things. First, click like and then subscribe to follow my channel. There's no prize, but it boosts my ego and might make me famous enough to keep making videos like these. Second, download the workflows from the official ComfyUI website. The link is in the description below. You'll need these once the update finishes, and we want to download all the models to run H3. Have you finished both? Okay, let's use that movie magic to fast forward until the update is done on my machine. Now that the update has completed, we have to restart the pod to apply the changes. If you see any components that fail to upgrade, don't worry about it for now. We just want to get H3 running, and we don't really need those components for that. Click the button to restart and then close the window. Back in Runpod, you should see that ComfyUI is initializing, and once it comes up as ready, click it and we'll get back to the model download. If you haven't downloaded the workflows I mentioned in the intermission, you should do so now. You need them for the next step. The link is in the description. When you get back to ComfyUI, drag and drop the text-to-video workflow file from your desktop directly onto the ComfyUI surface. This is how you load a workflow in ComfyUI. The workflow should open in its new tab and show you several nodes and at least one red node. You should also see 4 errors in the top right window. These errors are the missing models. Click the View Details button and you should see the missing models listed. You can download them to your desktop if you want them locally, but right now, click the Download to Pod button to download them directly to the pod. It will take a couple of minutes the first time, but this is still the one-time setup that you won't need to do again once we have created the template for the pod. When all the models are downloaded, click to refresh the page and your workflow should have no errors. But wait, don't click Run yet. We want to create a template for this and spin up a much faster GPU so it doesn't take hours to test. Close the ComfyUI window and go back to Runpod and click Stop on the pod. This only stops the pod, it doesn't delete it. So now, once you go back to the list of pods, you can click the three-dot button and choose Save as Template. In the dialog, you don't need to change anything except to set the name of port 8188 in the network configuration to ComfyUI. You can remove the other ports, including the TCP ports, as we're not using the file browser, Jupyter, or SSH. Note that you can set up the network volume you created earlier to always be part of the template. It may make it easier to remember, but isn't required. Click Create to make the template. It doesn't cost you anything, and now you can reuse it to launch any machine. With the template created, click the three dots again and then Deploy. This takes you to the type selection again, and we want to select an RTX 5090 if that is available. If it isn't available, now is a great chance to click that like and subscribe again, and take a short break. GPUs become available frequently, so chances are if you wait a few minutes, it will be available. If not, you can choose a different and preferably more powerful GPU. However, GPU speed and memory bandwidth are important for H3, and the 590 has a very good bang for your buck. Other options might be RTX Pro 6000, which costs about double the 590 and isn't even guaranteed to be faster. RTX 4090 will be noticeably slower, although unlikely to be as slow as my machine. I have a 5090 available, so I'm launching that. Once ComfyUI is ready, click the link and you should be able to drag the text-to-video workflow into the UI again. At this point, you can make changes to the prompts, lengths, and so on. For this demo, I'm just going to click Run without making any changes at all, so I'll get a 5-second action clip similar to the one you saw earlier in this video. Once the clip finishes, click to view or download it, and that's it. You now have your very own H3 Runpod that you can spin up anytime you want to try it out. Now that you know how to set up a ComfyUI with H3, let's go over some tips and tricks to get the most out of it. First, use the referral code in the description to get a gift and give me a gift too when you sign up and load your first $10. Effectively, you get more credits for the same cost, so there's no real reason not to do so. Second, you can increase rendering speed by rendering a very short clip first, then render a longer clip. This works because the first short clip loads the models into memory so they're warmed up for the longer render. Third, explore the image and reference to video workflows too. They are great at bringing life to images easily. Note that you need an additional model for the reference to video workflow, so you should consider adding that and creating a template if you plan on using that a lot. Fourth, cost. Depending on the plan, the official Minimax website charges around 10 cents per second of video. With the Runpod model and self-hosting, you not only retain control over your own models, but the cost drops to around 1 cent per second. Finally, remember to shut down your pods so they don't burn through your credits without doing anything. Also, the network drive you created costs around $5 months for 50 GB if you keep it, but it saves you the setup and model download every time you want to start a pod. You should run your own numbers to see if it makes sense for you to keep it or set this up each time. And that's it. Let me know what you make with this in the comments and any questions you may have, and I'll do my best to answer or perhaps make a follow-up video to respond. And if you like it, please share this video so more people can learn and I can get even more famous. This has been B Explains Everything.